Okay, welcome everyone. And there's a lot of data for the pound this morning and then not much else. Public sector borrowing, inflation hearings, orders at 11. And very little until we get the statement tomorrow. This pound yen is already at a resistance level. We have the 20 and 50-day average on the daily right here, right just above us. So this is a big area, and the US dollar yen, which are the other one I'm looking at this week. Let's make sure this is up to date. I'd like to see at least 230, if not lower. Yeah, close at 240, currently 257. So let's hope we get a pullback on that one. Very low voice, okay. Is that better? Is that all right? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get this sorted this morning. I think there's some software I need to sort this new mic out. Okay. So the microphone's better as long as the volume's okay. Is that correct? It's a better microphone. I just need to get the volume sorted. Yeah. Okay. All right. And so, yeah, let me just think about what I can do today as we come into the open. I'm going to concentrate on the pound yen and the DAX. DAX is not happy at this stage. So I'll wait until this sets up. My main focus is going to be on this pound. I'd like to see 900 again, but let's see what it can give us. Okay, so on this one, I would like to, yeah, like I said, I'd like to see closer to 900. A lot of data for this one, so it's going to be a busy day for the pound. And so you can see we are just at yesterday's high. Yeah, slightly out. No, I think that was okay. Yeah, so we're toying with yesterday's high on this pound yen. That dotted line is just a reminder to me of the Sunday open. So we're over 100 pips up from Sunday. Just wanting to see a lower close. While that's sorting itself out, let's have a look at the DAX. So we've come into this with an early sell signal. And overall, the markets are sort of going nowhere fast really at the moment. So just need to make sure I don't get trapped into any chop. So it was a bullish close on this yesterday. Yes, this was a decent run from slightly lower than where I've got it marked. I do like to have my charts drawn accurately. Otherwise it just catches my eye and frustrates me. So this has got decent support down here at 12.15. So if we look at the daily as a moment, you can see we're on the underside of this little trend line. So, but I do think in the meantime we can go at least to 200. That's a decent close above this June 17 support. So the high was 13,532 roughly, maybe slightly higher. And here we are, nearly 500 pips lower. So let's see if we can grab some of this. Sunday open on this was 984. So, right, so let's just line this up. Bear with me one moment. I have lost my fibs on the 60 minutes. I'm just going to put that back. There's already a nice little scalp off of that, off of yesterday's close. Look at that. The Europeans, Germans pushed it up and then sold it straight away at 75. Okay, so we've got the 5-minute move. Immediate push up. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to sit here and at least get 15 minutes trading out of the way. Because we are 100 pips off yesterday's lows. That low is only 29 pips off the big number. So we're toying with a big number on this one as well. But you can see that support down here begging just underneath here. So if we could get much closer to that floor or through the floor and then put a buy signal in, and hold the floor, then I will be interested. In the meantime, I'm just going to have a look at the pound yen on my other chart. And we'll talk about the US dollar yen as well. So pound yen's already dropped 22 plus pips into the open. We've come into this with a very bullish 60-minute chart on the pound yen. I'm pretty close to 900, so I'd love to see that dip into 900. Okay, so I'm watching the pound yen on the other screens and DAX on the screen you're looking at. Uh, 48 has sold into at the moment. A full retest of 13,000 would be great. So far that 30 looks like it's getting bought. Nothing much happening, so still showing some weakness in this one. It's like I said, I'd like to see a lower number followed by a buy signal. I think we can go up to 200 on this week. So I'm just going to be patient. And I'm going to switch to the pound yen in a moment. And this DAX was very range bound yesterday. So all we did last week, all we did yesterday was bounce to the top of the range or close to the top of the range. That's all we've done. So with the quiet week we've got this week, with Fed tomorrow night and then Thanksgiving, could see some sloppy trading. So I don't want to start jumping in and out of this unless I have good reason. So I'd rather you got bored with watching me rather than jumped in and out of trades that don't work. Yeah, need to protect our accounts. I think this is going to be lower. Pound yen's just drifting lower. This does not seem happy. I am slightly regretting not shorting that 48 high. Let's hope that doesn't come to haunt me. Yeah, we're not even 15 minutes into the day, the London Open yet, so plenty of time. We're certainly trying to hold here. Still red on the 15-minute chart. Looks as if it wants to punch through that floor. I'm just going to wait. Yeah, the euro's just picked up, which is okay. Yeah, that's 48 was a good short. Right, okay, we're coming into some support here. Forex is not doing much. The euro's had a little squirt higher. The euro is not doing much. Yeah, it just occurred to me after they hit that 48, I should have been shorting that, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm not here to take every trade that's on the table. Otherwise, I'll be firing off trades everywhere, and that's not what I'm after. I just want to get the scalper school targets hit with the minimum amount of stop outs. And the fact that we're close to the big number of 13,000 is good. Forex is doing very little. This looks lower at this stage, but I am just going to take it easy. Just biding my time until I can find a good entry here. So I am looking to go long this. It's just not, at the moment, it still looks lower. Keeping a very close eye on the pound yen. Okay, so we're about to get, okay, so 20 minutes into this. A normal reversal time is half past the open, so in 11, 12 minutes. So we're definitely trying to hold this floor. Any dip could be to our advantage. I think what I will do is, no, sorry, I was just going to put the fibs on that 15-minute chart, but it will be too cluttered. The reason why I haven't done it at the moment is simply because I think it will be a little bit cluttered. And all I'm interested in is finding a buy entry just above this 13,000. Okay, so far that dip's got bought. I am looking for an entry now. I've got my ticket ready. What I would like to do is try and get this to come back to the floor again. Obviously, lower will be better. I still think it's got time to settle. Pound yen's dipping lower. Not happy at the moment. Euro's coming off a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this was a bullish. We look at this 15-minute chart. There's a sweet bullish chart yesterday. Decent push up at 7 o'clock. Came back, just dipped, faked out a little drop here into the first hour. And then we got the push just as London opened. Okay, so some signs that they are buying this at the moment. But only just. And bear in mind, they've already filled the gap. So we look at the gap strategy on this. They filled the gap at the open, broke past it, and immediately started closing on it and then lower. So the initial thrust was just to get back to where they were yesterday, nothing more. And here we are, 30 odd pips lower. All right, I'm going to try and buy closer to that 30. Now we seem to be getting a push up. Okay, let's just see where we end up here. Okay, so we are holding this floor. So I'd like to buy close to the 30. My ticket is ready. A full retest of 30 would be great. See, just coming into the half-hour mark, so plenty of time. Could still drop this through 30 and still drop lower. But the signs are that this floor is getting held at the moment. So just looking to see if we can resume yesterday's uptrend. Okay. So I've gone long here. So I've picked up this little dip. So I'm long here. Now I will just show you my entry. Yeah, so I just got in close to that, close to the floor. My stop is just underneath this session low. We've got my 12 pip stop. In fact, I'm just going to, no, yes, I've got a 12 pip default stop on here. As we come into the half hour. So at the lows, we were 23 pips off the big 13,000 at the lows. Could still drop through here as we haven't got 15-minute confirmation. Pound yen's done nothing apart from drift a little lower. Euro is pretty flat. The MACD on this 5-minute is low, has not turned yet. But you know, I'm not sure. Obviously, we want to buy on a low MACD rather than a high MACD. So the MACD's got scope to push up. Doesn't look good right now. Just about at my entry point, maybe marginally lower. I think the bulls are definitely trying to salvage it, but it's could still short here. Like I said, if this can hold, I would have thought we could see or potentially 100 on this session. Okay, just coming to the half hour now. We're barely holding the floor, so it's not a great close. Breaking the floor again. Let's see, pound yen's drifting a little lower still. Euro's drifting lower. Not taken much heat, only just dipped underneath the floor so far. Now, is this normal reversal time going to kick in and pull this up, or are we in trouble? So I am long this, just about my, where am I? Marginally under my entry point, marginally. Right, let's have a look at the pound yen. Right, this is getting interesting. That's coming back to gap fill. So I've not even marked this one up, so let's mark So at the moment we are broken out to the short side, just hovering above the, sitting on that 200 and the gap. I think what I'll do at this stage is I'm just keeping an eye on the price of the DAX. So it's where I want it to be. Picking up a little bit. Just considering buying this pound yen, but we've had half an hour of selling, but only into the gap. So we've dropped into support so far. I think what I might do is just nibble on this one, half size. Okay, I'm just going to pick up a sort of a penny position here. And if we start to close above 15.20, then I'll buy more. So literally just a penny position almost on that support, on that gap fill. So the DAX is now picking up. The half-hour reversal at the moment is beginning to get in place. Obviously, I need to close above 35 plus for this to work. So I need a higher close in the 15-minute chart to get any kind of confirmation on this. Pound yen is at my entry point roughly. Close above 25 and this could fire off. Right, yeah, so this is just, we're in a very bullish open in this. Got a nice big hourly bar there. This is close to the where the hourly bar launched from. DAX is just a few ticks up. I'm not significantly higher, but I am higher nonetheless. 163 was last week's high, roughly. It might be marginally higher than that, but so we're 120 pips off last week's high. And the 64 is an obvious target. So let me get 64 on there. And let's see what that will give me in terms of, yeah, that's just about my 30 pips. It's just above the 25 scalper school target. So the floor has worked nicely. The half-an-hour reversal point has worked well. Pound yen is slightly under my entry. But like I said, we've got a lot of data for the pound. Right, let's have a look around. Euro's picked up, okay. 20 pips on that one. The daily looks like this, potential stopping bar. So we ran into that 100 moving average, dropped down to the 20. With all that resistance above us that we hit on Wednesday. There's the big bar from Tuesday. So it's been a tough one to trade. Scalpable, but certainly not swing tradable. So we've come into the halfway point on this big bar, and so far holding. So if we close above 850, bear in mind we're only 750 now, that could launch up. That could fire off. Euro yen, 60-minute chart has come in and held the 720 mark really well yesterday, very well. Dropped there overnight on Sunday, Monday. Pushed up into 810. Dropped back to this 720 area, and now here we are looking as if we could pull up from here. That might affect the DAX, but at the moment the DAX is happy. So that's all I've got to say. Pound US, let's mark it off. Just hugging the gap. Decent push out of Asia and into Europe Open. London thought that was too pricey, so they dragged it down. So we could fade. We could hit 256, 260 and fade on this one. But we are broken above a daily trend line. So these dips at the moment look very good. We've just got to break up through 270, and this could really run. This could really pounce. That could be quite a decent breakout if that works. And we've got inflation reports today. If anything's going to stoke this market up, it's obviously going to be inflation. Pound yen is slightly underneath. Well, I'm pennies into that, so that's fine. Well, obviously I don't want to stop out, but I'm literally pennies into it. This is a major support area here. Obviously, we're just a few pips above the 900, so it might just want to come into that 900 mark. Okay, in the meantime, the DAX is pulling up. We're getting very close to scalper school target. 12, 13, 14 pips at the moment. That's a resistance area, so we're going to potentially struggle with that. Pound yen dipping into 900. I think what I might do this one is take the profit out of the DAX and then wait until the UK data comes out and then see if the data is going to give us an entry on that one. Could just be wanting to come in contact with that 900 mark. And when I bought it at 07 or 08, it's just a little bit too early. Okay, so we are, obviously 50 is a big marker. If you look at this 15-minute chart now, these 200 moving averages on the 15-minute chart are big markers. And so far, it's so bullish, we've not even tested it. We've not even bothered to come and test it. So 18.9 was yesterday's high, so that is possible. Very close to target now. But similar pattern to yesterday, wasn't it? Look lower, struggling, and then just stayed in that channel. Bottom of the channel got bought, and then we shot up. So what have we got now? We've got that resistance. We've got this support. So again, we're at the bottom of the channel, bottom of that little channel. with the potential to strike up. Hitting a lot of congestion at the moment, so if you want to grab what you got, go for it. So at the moment at the high we hit 60. Now, if we hold up like this into the top of the hour, this could go and see 150 plus. But yeah, I'm only concentrating on the scalp score target this morning. These are range bound markets. We've got a lot to get through this morning. So just looking for scalping targets, not looking for any breakouts. I think for a breakout, we need this to push up into this resistance and then fade back. Yeah, for breakouts, you generally need a market that's loaded, not a market that's light. But we did really well yesterday, didn't we? Look at all that red amongst these bars. Because we came out of the main period, there was still quite a lot of red into the main period, but into the top of the hour they held it up and then ran it right up into sort of 10, 11 o'clock doldrums. And it's only into towards the close that we got a final little push. So this was mainly all done with by 9:30. You wouldn't achieved much more by staying in after that. Well, you would have achieved another 90 pips, but you'd have to leave your stop out break even, if not lower. Leave it and wait several hours. Whereas with scalping, you're just out of the way. You're done and dusted. No harm in getting out ahead of your scalp score target as long as you've made money. That's the main thing. Because we're struggling with this resistance up here. Pound yen is beginning to pick up. I just watched this a bit longer. I should look at the US dollar yen. So the gap is acting as a nice magnet, as you would normally expect it to do. So that's a good 15-minute close. Well, we're not closed yet, but just the seconds away from a good 15-minute close. Forget the news. It's all about what the market wants to do. So I'm 22 pips up at the moment. Excuse me. Pound yen's holding at 900. So my target's 64, isn't it? Well, it looks as if we're going to get hit. Just a few pips off of that now. Yeah, nearly hit. Just a couple of pips away. Okay, we're hit. Okay, so that scalp score target hit on that one. So now, if you're still trading this later in the day, watch for 25 to 40. It could well break. It's holding up well. In the meantime, I'm actually taken out of this. It's a very small loss on this. Penny loss. So that will just have to go on the watch list for the moment. Just going a little bit too high, I think. This 900 is looking good. Euro US struggling. It's not a very nice chart to trade. I don't think that's really struggling. This had a good push up yesterday, and then Saturn has done nothing since, hugging the gap, really hugging it. Look at that, we've been hugging it since well, for nearly 24 hours. Pushed up as high as 247. Which brings me neatly to this one. I think this weekly chart is something else. Let me just drag over this chart. No, actually that's got pivots on. Let me just drag this one over. We talked about this last night. We'll talk about 60-minute charts in a minute. Look at this weekly. Whoa, is that good? So what's going on? How can you interpret this weekly? And so we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5-wave completion. 1, 2, 3-wave correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just trying to do we've been wiggling around on this weekly chart since 2014, since the breakup on 2014. Take all that away. I think Elliott Wave is just fascinating and a tremendous instrument. I now fib this last range. Right, so we dipped underneath the zone here in September, came immediately back in the middle of September, pushed higher early October, hit a lot of resistance into November, and here we are just sitting on this 250. So if I'm right, we will hold this area into the back end of this week and potentially come and see 2017 highs. Is the mic? Sorry, can you? Am I too quiet? Sound check. Am I too quiet? Okay, sorry. I will sort this mic out. If for some reason it seems to get quieter as I get into the session, don't know why, but I'll resolve it or I'll go back to the other one. Right, we're fading. Now, fades are generally, on this DAX, fades are generally more powerful. So we've filled the gap. So we've held the floor, filled the gap, coming back to so we're wiggling back to the fade now. Not about to jump in. I want to give this market time to just settle down. You turned up the volume, okay. This is actually quite an expensive mic. I think my mistake is I haven't downloaded the software properly, so I'll go and resolve that after this session. Yeah, so like I said, decent 15-minute chart, fading potentially. I'd like to see it come back into the range and hold and then buy. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back off until the data comes out now. It's quite a week. If you are interested in reloading on this, then watch out for 2020 to 40. This could, of course, just roll over because we've actually got a sell signal on the gap. But I think what's happened is we just got a lot of scalpers who've had that as their target, as we've had, and now they're backing off. And this one's not happy. Pound yen is not happy at the moment, despite the bullish close. They've just been flogging it. Right, I take profit for pound yen, 970. Scalp school target is 925. The potential daily, bear in mind we are selling right now. The potential is to go to 970 and 970 this week. But yeah, I'm lost a few pennies and we are dropping lower, not holding at the moment. So I'm happy to get stopped out. Well, I'm not happy to get stopped out. Happy to stay away, I should say. And then I will just coming into the Asian close at 895, but still looking lower. Right, I am going to break off and I'm going to come back to you at 25 past. I'm going to trade the reaction to the news on the pound. So had you switched that, you would have doubled up your scalpel school target. But it looked bullish. Let's look at the weekly on this one. I was going to talk about hourly charts, wasn't I? Yeah, let me talk about hourly charts in a minute. So weekly chart, we've got a trend line coming up from 2014 highs, busted up in 2015, sold off in 15. Now, this time in 2 years ago, we peaked and fell back into February. That's why there's a lot of caution in this market. Yeah, we did peak up here in the end of 2015. We just had a couple of bad weeks, a couple of short weeks, a couple of long weeks into Christmas, and then a weak start to January, February, which is not unusual. And then look what we've done. See this buy signal down here on October 14? We came right back to that buy signal in February 16 and started to run from a low of 87.40. We went to 10,500, back down to support at 9.2, and ultimately went from 9.2 to 12, 13,000. So we are high, we are divergent up here. So we've had a new high and the lower high in the MACDs. We are divergent, which is why there is caution. Right, 60-minute charts. Let's look at the 60-minute on the pound yen. Dotted line is the Sunday Open. Closed on it at 7 o'clock in the European Open yesterday, and had 3 hours of higher moves from about 800, 805 to 888. And here we are, just we've hit that top of that fib zone at 926, went past it, and then now lower, sitting on the coming into the 200-day moving average with a crossover on the MACD. The decent support would be something between 880 and yeah, 880 is 50% and 860 is a possibility. But 880 would be a nice dip under the big round number, and then if we hold, that could potentially launch us back to last week's highs, 150.20 and 150.80. Trend lines. We have that trend line across the highs, which was bought yesterday lunchtime. Take this fibs off. So we are high here, and last week when we did this, we did pull right back again. So I mark off last week's highs. Yeah, at the back end of the week, we just rolled over. So this week, what could we do? We could, if I draw a trend line from the Sunday lows, and which was support last week, and the underscore that, we could come all the way back down to 850, 800 in this range. It's a horrible range, isn't it? This is a massive box. Ever since we dropped down here on the rate decision, we have basically been ranging in that range. So we've got close to the top of the range. Yeah, possibly. Be very cautious with those talking heads. Just pick up on what the 60-minute charts are doing, and take it from there. Right, so we've got the top of the hour now. This one is trying to hold up, but all the 15-minute bars are lower. So we've breached the yesterday's high and then drop right back into support. Messy markets. The thing is about the correction. When everybody gets, a lot of retail traders are heavily short on these indices. Excuse me. But what are these indices doing? Let's have a look at the daily of the DAX. If this market is going to drop hard, we're going to have to have a much better setup than this to get short for me. I think we're climbing a wall of fear at the moment. Everybody's fearing a correction, and yet every time these markets dip, they get bought. So we dip, get bought, dip, support. You get the picture. Very nice run up here. And what have we done so far? Yes, we're £500, 500 pips lower. But what's happening? We're getting bought. So I think we could potentially come up to at least retest 13.5, and who knows, maybe even come and visit some of these levels up here. To short this, I'd want this to come right into 13.5, potentially breach it, and then roll over it here. I want to get short somewhere up here. I wouldn't want to get short when the MACD has come back down to support. Certainly would want to get short up here. And likewise, I'd want to repeat the exercise. I'd want to see this push up and then get some sell signals either under here or up here. The underside of this trend line, so the trend line is coming here from October here. The underside of that trend line might be interesting at 250, 400, but I would much rather get short up here or up here. That's my view. Everyone's got a view, haven't they? Everyone's got a view. Where are we on anyway? Let's ask Mr. Elliott. See what Mr. Elliott says. He says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that's a 5-wave power move. A 3-wave correction. Well, wave 2 would put us back up here. Wave 3 would take us back down to support. And then wherever we broke from this area here would be a potential move. That's what I think Mr. Elliott would say. Can't remember his first name. Forgotten it. Read his book while I was in Berlin again. Okay, so we're coming off of 32. So the normal, sorry, as we're speaking, I should have been taking this, shouldn't I? So we've potentially reloaded down here. If the market's going to break, then it needs to reload. So the point at which you buy or sell this market is quite often when you are against the market. And that's the way trading works. If everybody, if you get a market where everybody's one side of the trade, it can tip it the other way. For example, let me draw this. If you've got if this is your bucket of futures contracts, we're not, the main market here is futures contracts. There's the bucket. There's all the contracts in there, piled high, stacked high with contracts. If all of those contracts get tipped out into the sell bucket, so if everyone's short and they all get tipped out into the sell bucket, then what happens? The volume dries up and you can't trade. So if all the contracts are over here and the buy bucket is empty or at least low, let's just say it's really low, the markets, they can drop to as far as they want to. If everyone's short, sometimes the markets just go the other way. You see a lot of profit taking. If the markets get stuck and the volume dries up, you see a lot of profit taking, and it can go the other way. Everyone buys back their contracts. The buy bucket gets filled. it can go against you, because the classic of that example, I think, is this. I think it was December 2015, I was on stage at a trading conference, and I was asked, how soon is the euro? This is the exact question. How soon is the euro going to go to parity? Where are we? Right back down here. Let's get a bit more data. Let's take this off. Yeah, I was at the conference here. No, actually it was, no, I think of the wrong date. When was it? Can't remember. I was asked when, anyway, the euro was really, really low. And they asked me when the euro was going to go to parity. And I just said, hold on. You know, I think the euro is going to surprise you. And sure enough, we stopped at 10.5. That's a 105, sorry. At the lows, we dipped to 103.50. So everyone thought, you know, the euro was doomed for parity. And it just came out of that channel. We're just sitting above the channel now. So 115 is really, really good support. So if we come and sit on 115, we could come higher. All right, so just be careful of talking heads. Talking heads will try and go with the main, well, yeah, obviously they're professional people. They'll give you a professional opinion. But sometimes talking heads can get it completely wrong. I can get it completely wrong. I just hope I'm, you know, I aim to be more right than wrong. That's all I aim to do. Right. So the market has reloaded to some extent, looking higher. 2 hours of lower closes though. You know, we bought this to the upside, and we've still had 2 hours of lower closes. You're reloading. Okay, I hope you got a nice low price. Yeah, I talked about 25 to 35.40. So if you've got a decent price, you're already beginning to build a profit. So that's good. Well done. Okay, I'm just going to back off. My throat's dry anyway. I'm going to get a drink and then come and trade the reaction to the pound. Oh, euro's really not happy. So they pushed it up to where they want to sell it to yesterday. And the DAX is doing very nicely. Okay, right. I will talk to you at 25 past. I'm just not going to do anything else now until we get to 25 past. Huge amount of support underneath here, but a lot of resistance above. Talk to you then. Recording's on again. Yeah, okay, so we're coming to 877 DAX, another little pop up. Looks quite fragile around here at the moment. All the time the euro is low, that's okay. That's a trap between this floor and yesterday's close. pound yen. I think that's dipped back into support. Well, it has dipped back into support. I know it's dipped, we all know it's dipped back into support. Let's just see to what extent. Okay, so we're sitting on this fib support here at the moment. Sitting on this 887. I'm going to take my time with this. Going to let this data come out because we've got inflation reports at 10. Yeah. What I would suggest you do is take a signal from, let's see where we are with this data, but potentially take a signal from where we are at 10:05. If we're sitting high and closing above 926, then potentially try and sit in it. But if we're under this 890 area, then we could come more. Well, who knows? Maybe we could come back to the lows. It looks good sitting here at the moment. So I dipped my toe in the water at 900. Didn't work. US dollar yen is dipping lower. In fact, this has had a big move. So let me put a fibs on this as well, just while we're waiting for data to come out. So I would be very interested in this at 230, if we can come see 230 again. Anything lower is a potential gift. Right, DAX is holding up. Pound yen data is out. Uh, 887 now is very, very good support. Start dropping through here and through 878, and we are short. Remember, we talked about all that support coming in at 850. So look at the pound US, see if that's any different. Yeah, this looks like one of those patterns, open trading range patterns, where we drop into support and then ping up. It's public sector borrowing we just had, isn't it? Public sector borrowing was worse. DAX is picking up. So traders have held on to those contracts and they are potentially pulling out of this. Not sure we're going to get a significant run because of the sort of part of the week we're in and the congestion above. I can't see a trade here at the moment. I'm not inclined to go into that until we get 10 o'clock out of the way. There's a very bearish bar that we're coming to this. So I think what would be an ideal situation is if we dipped into this low, inflation reports come out, and then we break to the upside for the bulls. Otherwise, if we break 878 into the inflation report, then this is doomed, potentially doomed. DAX is held back up to our previous target. Okay, so the reload looks as if it's worked. Trying to punch higher. So you potentially got 50 plus pips on that already. It's like the DAX is liking the lower euro. Yeah, this is looking lower. I'm going to potentially short this. Let's have a look. I'm going to nibble on the short side. Now, I tell you what would make sense. So scrap that. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to wait till the inflation comes out. What would make sense is to crash into 257, 262, and then short. That would make sense. Yeah, there's too much support down here to short, and the market, I think, is waiting for the inflation data to come out. So I'm going to stand aside from this and just wait for that inflation data to come out. Looks like it can crack lower, doesn't it? Okay, well done if you took that, if you reloaded on the DAX, that's looking healthy. Like I said, not sure it can actually break. It had a great day yesterday, so why not see a follow through? Not sure if it can do it now, but hey, hang on and give it a go. Stay focused on the pound yen, which is looking very unhappy right now, and I'm going to sit tight and wait till the inflation data come out of the way. So I'm keeping my powder dry. I'm going to see where we come out at 10 o'clock. Okay, I'll talk to you then. Yeah, I just don't want to risk a stop out. So I am being cautious. But this is losing its footing. Okay, I'll talk to you at 10 o'clock. Okay. just gone long on this one. US dollar yen, it's at the gap fill, so just buying the gap here. Decent support, very decent support. Let's just see if it works. The DAX has done really well. That was a smart move, buying the pullback, buying the fade, and holding up well. The pound US is on the edge. So let's see what this inflation report can do for us. Let's look at the pound yen. So I had a good day yesterday, dipping back into this support. A dip back into 850, 860 will be interesting. Seeing some dollar strength with this, with the euros dropped back into yesterday's lows. Had a good run yesterday. Very, very good support again on the fib zone and the 60-minute 200 moving average. And so it's a decent fib support on the 60-minute US dollar yen as well after that big decent day yesterday. So let's just see if the market likes this and that can hold. Okay, so let's look at the pound yen. Now this kept selling at the highs last week. It's done the same so far this morning. But that pullback to the 50 area might do it. Let's see what we get. Okay, I'll go quiet now till the data's out, and then I will trade the reaction, mark off the 5-minute range, and see which way it wants to go. US dollar yen is just ticking up from that gap. Like I said, it could break out if we can start closing above 250, 300. I'll go quiet till the data. Issues out, and pound yen's holding, US dollar yen's holding up, DAX holding up. Pound has got a higher close in the 15-minute chart, lower close in the 60-minute chart. DAX continues to close higher. Euro closing higher, Pound yen, immediate reaction looks weaker. DAX is doing well. No trade in this one at the moment. US dollar yen creeping up a little bit. A couple of minutes into this and we look as if we could hold up. Okay, just coming into the first 5 minutes of this range, of this data range. Really quiet. It's really not sure where to go, is it? DAX continues to inch up, as does the US dollar yen. Okay, doesn't look happy at the moment. Just coming to the close with a really flat, tight, titchy range. Okay, so it's a marginally higher close. I'm just going to nibble on the long side. He wants a big stop. Wants a 24 pip stop on this account. All right, so I've just gone long on the pound yen. If we break, it's literally so tight, isn't it? Whichever way we come out of this, it's going to be the direction. Okay, so I've just gone long there. US dollar yen just ticking up a little bit off of that gap. DAX doing really well. That's how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go into the morning, just a small position long on this one, and the US dollar yen, and that's how I'm going to leave it. And the scalper school target is definitely 18. You know, basically fading. I'm looking for this to fade. So that would give you just over 25, 30 pips. If you want to go for a larger target, by all means, but the scalper school target will be a fade at 18, 17, 15 to 18 for your scalper school target. All right. Just before you go, is this microphone okay still? I'm just going to sort it out after this session. Is my voice loud enough? Works. Okay. All right. Well, I'm long US dollar yen and pound yen. Good trading, guys. Seems to be working in my favor. I like the 15-minute stop bar, inverted hammer. And see if that reaches target. Thanks for joining me, and I will try my best to update you in the Skype room. Well, I will be updating you in the Skype room. Happy trading, and talk to you later. Bye for now.